and welcome to Hardcopy from our channel's television studios in Abuja. I am Kayla Megwa. Former President Muhammadu Buhari died and has been buried. Nigeria is mourning the death of a man who spent most of his life in service of our country. And while his legacy may be complicated, late former President Muhammadu Buhari was loved, respected, and revered by millions of people, as we saw displayed as the crowds followed his corpse from the Umar Musa Yar'Adua Airport in Katsina to the prayer ground in Daura and to his residence, where he was laid to rest in the very spot in his backyard where he loved to relax. As a State House correspondent who covered Muhammadu Buhari's time as president, it was difficult sometimes to reconcile this funny, hardworking, frugal, and disciplined man I saw daily with the man being bashed on social media. And as the nation mourns him, his actions and inactions are now front burner news again, with a whole generation of Nigerians unwilling to sympathize with those who mourn, as their recollection of this man who's being eulogized doesn't reflect the realities they experienced under him. Tonight on Hardcopy, we examine late former President Muhammadu Buhari's complicated legacy with a man who worked with him, serving in the Buhari government as chairman of the Police Service Commission after being Nigeria's Inspector General of Police. My guest has worked closely with 7 presidents, late Muhammadu Buhari included, and together we navigate the murky waters of good governance and what that means in the Nigerian context. Legacies of complicated presidents like late Muhammadu Buhari, and lessons those in power should be learning right now as the national consciousness of the Nigerian continues to grow. Mr. Mike Okiro joins us tonight on Hardcopy. Mr. Mike Okiro, welcome to Hardcopy.
Oh, thank you so much.
I saw your statement following the death of former President Muhammadu Buhari. And there were a few things that you said. I want to be able to... You described him as a leader who worked tirelessly to uphold the security, unity, and prosperity of Nigeria.
I said so.
Talk to us a bit about your time working as the chairman of the Police Service Commission, because I know you were appointed by Goodluck Ebele Jonathan.
Yeah.
But you served 2 years under Jonathan and then 3 years under President Muhammadu Buhari. What was that like working with him?
It was good working with him. I tried to compare and contrast my working under him and that of Jonathan. I found out it was good working with him. He was a man that was principled. And if he believed in it, it was difficult to convince him. There are certain things that happened when I was there with him. I tried to convince him, and he said, no, how are you going to be? For example, recruitment. When I was appointed chairman of the Police Service Commission, I found out that for 5 years, there was no recruitment in the police. Police lost a lot of manpower. 59,630 personnel of the police force left either on retirement or death, whatever, by turnover, no replacement. Most police stations were closed down because no manpower to hold them. So I had to write to government. I noted all these things. Dr. Junior Town's time, he approved 10,000 policemen to be recruited. That was the first time an agency recruited 10,000 in Nigeria. We did that. When Jonathan came in, when Buhari came, I had to write again to him. He approved 6,000. I gave 6,000 to IG to recruit. I said no. I went to him and said, look, the Constitution is very clear on the services and functions of Police Service Commission. The Act created Police Service Commission in 2021 made it clear that 2012 made it clear that Police Service Commission should do recruitment, employment, promotion of all police officers apart from IG. Therefore, taking this into police service to IG is contrary to the Constitution.
How did he respond?
He responded, but not very positively.
So he was a difficult man to convince.
Not very positively. But then I wrote at the Union Federation to advise us. He did, and passed it to him before I accepted.
Oh, he accepted?
Yes. The next issue that came up was recruiting policemen by local government. And I said no. The Constitution talks about federal character, equality of states. It is the equality of local governments. Therefore, we cannot recruit policemen based on local government, but based on the states, which was said by the Constitution. The Committee of Police Affairs Senate called me. I did something. The invited chairman of the Federal Character Commission, he was with me. We started recruitment on state basis. In Jigawa. Then I got a letter signed by Mr. President. It should be based not on state, but local government. We have to comply. That is when now they are still doing recruitment, the police based on local government.
Buhari started that. Let's go back to the first time you met him. I've heard this story. I'm going to get the confirmation from you today that you met him when you were a youth corps member in Borno State in 1977. Is this true?
Yeah, I did my service.
At the time, he was military administrator in Borno. Let's hear about this story.
I was a youth corps in Borno State, 1977, when it was called Colonel Buhari, was it Colonel Brigadier, something like that, was the military governor of Borno State. And as luck we have it, the youth corps wanted to pay a visit to the government house. And they should send 4 youth corps. And they got 4 youth corps. I was among those 4 that went to the government house in Maiduguri. We visited the chief of Borno, then to the government house. And we saw him and he greeted us, we shook hands. Most of us went, to check so you put the hand in your pocket. You put the hand in your pocket, that kind of thing. And to check the governor, that was the first time. Though as a student, student union member, a time we visited Durham Barracks and had the opportunity of shaking hands with Gowon then. But that was gone. This was way up in Maiduguri, shaking hands with the governor. It was a great thing, and we emulated him. We looked at the governor, Kai, so humble to shake hands with Ikopa. So that was my first experience of.
So that was in 77. So you were grown. You were a grown man when he was military head of state.
Yeah.
And then you now worked with him as civilian president. Let's talk about both men. The man in the 80s and the one we met in 2015.
Yeah.
Was it the same person?
The same person, but different scenario. As a military head of state, Buhari came up with decrees. Decrees were obeyed. He came up with some legacies, one that really sent a record into me as a better Nigerian. He brought the issue of queuing, who are getting discipline, sanitation, and fight against corruption. So, yeah, I think he gave those legacies as the military of state. But as the civil president, they're not the same. Because A decree is a decree. If you fought, the military had to get up you. But as a civilian democratic head of state, democratic governor, you don't have the same power as a military of state, military governor has.
So the restriction was this type of governance it was?
Yes. Yeah, because... So
it wasn't him? You don't think it was him? Many people believe that when he became civilian president. And even growing up in this country, even though I was pretty young, everyone always understood that Baba Megaskia is the disciplinarian. You know, he's a disciplinarian.
Yes.
And when he was coming in, even in this Abuja, they started repairing all the street lights. Any money that was remaining, people were trying to get things done. The streets got cleaned up because we all had memories of the kind of person he was in the 80s.
Yes.
So everyone was expecting that, yes, he was coming to sanitize.
Yes.
But many people feel like he didn't do that. And they didn't think it was a product of democracy. They felt it was a product of him. Like he checked out, like he wasn't actively involved in governance, even if he was there.
I was, trying to give the difference between military rule and democratic rule. Democratic rule, you have Federal Institute Council, you have Council of States, you have this, you have that. You know that this repetipism in trying to enforce actions the civilian government.
If the system of government in place was restricting him from being the man that many people believed he could be, so is that what the issue was? Were we wrong to believe that this man was going to replicate that orderliness in a democratic government? Was that a wrong decision we took?
I will say yes, I will say no. Yes, in the sense that when we voted him in, they looked at his antecedents as a military of state. Look at it. Oh, that was their belief. That this man comes back, there are a lot of things that have gone wrong in Nigeria. That if the man comes in now, maybe he can put things right. No, in the sense that he has some impediments. He could wake up on money as a military and make a decree. He can't do that. He can't just... They have to go through processes before the president, before the National Assembly can make a bill for the president to sign. But the military don't do that. They don't wake up on money, that's a decree. So they're quite different. The democracy has a human head. Military rule has a human leg. You know, we don't care. It don't do what they want to do. That's a difference.
When we take a look at late former President Muhammadu Buhari, one thing a lot of things come to mind, really. He's been in service for a very long time and lived for a very long time. So, of course, there'll be a lot of talk around him. I want to be able to talk about corruption, because that was something he was very vehement about. He said, if we don't kill corruption, corruption will kill us.
He says so.
If a man says he's a leader and hasn't replicated himself in the people around him, is he really a leader, or was he just a man taking a walk? Because a leader, if I'm friends with you, even just as friends, I would want to take good things. You would want to impact some things into me. Was he unable to do that? And does that mean that he was a good leader?
That was an area I got him wrong. Yeah, because the buck served the table as the president. But unfortunately, he can't discipline anybody. He had to quit it. He had to pass through normal process. And then maybe somewhere along the line, people come to beg, the party intervenes, and the thing slips on the carpet again. But right in his mind was against corruption. But he couldn't afford that war of corruption alone. He could have to help him.
Resign in protest.
Well,
resign in protest? That's what an honorable man would do.
Is it easy to resign in protest?
It's not easy, but if you know that your principles, come on, I'm a military kid as well, and we know how the military people are. If something is not right in principle and goes against what you stand for, you don't resign that you've given up. You resign in protest. And why couldn't that have happened? But because what's happened now is he stayed and, okay, I won't micromanage you people. I will not be solid in your mess. But at the same time, I'm not oversighting you. So a lot of things went awry.
Of course, no human being is perfect. We decided to take that aspect. So people could have resigned, though, but resignation was not the solution to the problem, because the thing is, even if you resign, what to resign for, or what to resign against, you see being practiced. So what have you got for resigning? So these are things you have to think about. Something is going on somewhere. If you look at Buhari, who had been a military of state, his achievements, and also the civilian or democratic kind of state, his achievements, his failures, you start to juxtapose military and civilian government. So, it's nothing is ever 100% correct or 100% wrong. You have merits and demerits in everything. There's some demerits here, some demerits there. So, but the issue that he was a perfect man.
What's his biggest flaw in your view?
Well, like what just said now, one of his flaws. He allowed a cabal to rule. I give you an example. The same time I wanted to discuss certain things with him. As Chairman of the Commission, very important things I want to discuss. But they cannot pass through. Some people block me. Some people block me. I remember there was a situation. I was more good to the back door to see him. I wanted to discuss with him. People are blocking me from seeing him.
Why were they blocking you?
This is best known to them. I had to go through a back door to see him. And they expect to say, they are blocking me from seeing you. That's why I came to the back door to see you. And when I did, he was happy with me.
Let's talk about Nigeria's youth and the late former president. Even when he was in office, of course, NSAS happened. That didn't endear him to a whole generation. A whole generation blamed him. Felt like this man didn't care about us as young people. So they didn't care about him when he died. When he died, many of them were saying very uncomplimentary things about him. And while you may want to, we grew up saying you don't speak ill of the dead, but our world is changing, isn't it? Mm-hmm. Now people believe that, the fact that someone is dead means that I can actually say more about how this person made me feel or what my life was like under this person. It's their reality. What do you make of that dynamic where we have an older generation of Nigerians eulogizing a man that the younger generation did not like very much?
You see, if you can get back a little bit, the younger generation maybe knew him as civilian president. The other one knew him also as a military of state. Knew his actions. They did not see him as civilian head of state. They tried to compare and contrast. You see, Buhari, I would say, had been one of the luckiest Nigerians in terms of service to the nation.
Who gets that opportunity?
Yeah, because he was the military governor of Borno State. After which became Minister of Petroleum. Then he became military head of state. After which he became chairman of PTA for something.
Yes.
And they became
civilian
president for 8 years. No Nigerian had gotten that opportunity. I don't know about the world, but I'm talking about Nigerian, which I'm a Nigerian. So he had that opportunity. And to leave a legacy and make a mark. He tried to do it. But as a human being, cannot be perfect. Can't do everything I want to do. Then you're God. If you want to do everything as us, then you're God. There are certain things. We take it and leave certain aspects of humanity to him. Talking about him, for instance. They're right. Because there are certain things he should have done, which he didn't do. And I give you reason why he couldn't have done them, because you have to follow certain rules. To do certain things in Nigeria now because of democracy. So in that aspect, it was wrong. It can never be perfect. The youths were right because they knew him as the head of state. They didn't know him as military of state. So that aspect of his life was not known to them or by them.
You've worked with 7 presidents.
Yeah, I did. I was lucky to do that.
7 presidents?
Yeah.
Where does he rank?
Well, it was a good experience.
It was a good so let's...
let me start.
Let me put your foot near the fire. Not on the fire, just near the fire. Just a little. Let's warm your feet a little bit. 7 presidents.
Yeah, closely.
1 being absolutely terrible and 7 being an amazing president. Where does the late former president Muhammadu Buhari rank?
He ranks among... I worked under him at Chairman Police Service Commission. And like I said, seeing him was the problem for me because I was blocked at the time. Sometimes I want to see the president. See as a staff, under your boss, you have issues to discuss with your boss. The PA, for example, say, what are you going to do with the boss? It's solved the problem for you. He feels I solved the problem, but the problem is not solved because unless you hear from the master. That's what I've gone through. I have an issue of what is the president for? He will give me solution. That is no solution. But to me, that solution was not acceptable. But I had no choice. I could nothing. But I had to go. So you talk about ranking. I think it's come about maybe 4th or even 5th in the list of presidents I worked with.
Who was your favorite?
My favorite was Babangida. I worked under Babangida.
Babangida was your favorite?
You have to believe what I worked with.
You worked with 7, including Goodluck Ebele Jonathan. I'm surprised that you answered.
No. I started with Babangida. After Babangida, Sheneko, Abacha. Then down. Then Jonathan. In terms of Jonathan was a governor, a president in the military and the civil regime, democracy. It was very good. Babangida was the military regime. Like I said, the military had a different scenario.
Modus operandi.
But
so for the civilian bit, your favorite was Goodluck Jonathan.
But fantastic.
And then the military was Babangida.
Yeah, that was just for a very short while.
Yeah.
So before he could put his leg down to rule Nigeria, he was gone. But Jonathan did very well. He did very well.
Late former president Muhammadu Buhari was known as the custodian of 12 million votes. Everywhere he went, everyone who was around him, in fact, many people have argued that part of the reason why many people revered him so much was because of that army, that army of 12 million. And for those who don't believe it, then they don't understand how the North works. Because that army of 12 million is real. He's always carried that with him. Now he's dead. The question now is, who inherits the 12 million? And in looking at that, as we wrap up, who, in your view, as we get ready for 2027, would have that sort of control, that cult following that late former President Muhammadu Buhari had in the North, that would be squaring up to Bola Ahmed Tinubu in 2027?
Well, Buhari was a figure, political figure, for 2 million people in the North. I thought now that it's gone, they will realign. I look for a favorable ground or where to pitch their tent. I will say for them where they will go. They will decide for themselves where to go when the time comes.
But in your view, looking at, you've been here a very long time, Mr. Okiro, looking at our political landscape,
I wouldn't say I'm not a prophet.
But do you think there's anyone? Maybe not. Don't give me names.
Maybe there is. Maybe there's none.
If there's none, then what happens?
They will pitch the tent themselves, decide for themselves where to go. If there's somebody, they'll go to that person. If there's nobody, they'll be on their own. You have 12 million votes. individual votes. If you're somebody, you now have 2 million bulk votes.
Well, that'd be a good place to anchor it. Mr. Mike Okiro, thank you so much for being with us on Hardcopy, and good luck with all you have ahead of you.
Thank you so much. I used to come again.
We would love to have you again. That's Hardcopy this week. I'm Kayla Magwa. Good night.